What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Matt, from the DFS 5 pack, rocking it solo. It is Monday, September 13th. Hopefully, everyone had a great week one of NFL. DFS was pretty good for me. Unfortunately, the Browns let that game slip away. Wasn't really expecting them to beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Just wanted them to be competitive, and they were definitely competitive. I think that we're on the up and up for sure. Wish we could have taken that game home, but Mahomes does what Mahomes does. So we look forward to next week. Got to take care of business at home against Houston. But until then, we got some MLB to crush. I'm excited to get back into the grind of MLB. I usually love playing MLB on like NFL Sundays, but DK really downsized the contest and made it really not worth playing for me. So I'm excited to get back on it today, and let's get it. Screen share this, and we'll dive right in. Alrighty, so as far as pitching options go, again, there's only 7 games, so not the greatest options in the world. Starting up top with Clayton Kershaw, the most expensive pitcher on the slate. I struggle to want to spend this money on him when we have no idea like how long he's going to go. It even says down here he tossed 49 pitches in his last rehab outing, so the Dodgers are likely preparing for Kershaw to give them around 4 innings or 60 pitches on Monday. I mean, you can't spend 10-4 on a guy that's only going to give you that much. Sandy Alcantara, much better at home, so worth noting. I'm a big Alcantara fan. He's expensive at 9,600, but given the other options and that Kershaw is not really in play at all, I see why Alcantara is getting love. It makes sense. Not that he's like coming in as chalky or anything. He's going to be about 20% owned, and I think that makes a lot of sense. I don't love spending this money on him on the road, but there aren't a lot of pitchers I really love on this slate. Moving on down to Yu Darvish is a guy I'm definitely interested in. Tough spot against the Giants, but I'm just a believer in his stuff. Got it going last time out against the Angels. Now again in a much tougher spot, but still a really good pitcher's park. Gets to face the pitcher. At 9,300, Darvish is high on my short list for sure. Adam Wainwright was really good last time out against the Dodgers. Was going for a complete game. Got hit a little bit in the 9th. Maybe a little bit more solid than spectacular, but you can do a lot worse than just rostering like all Adam Wainwrights if you get what I'm saying. Like he's going to give you what he's got every night, and I don't think he's a must on this slate, but I think he's definitely in play. Considering that there again aren't really guys that I think are musts on this slate at all. Next, we got Erod, who's coming in with quite a bit of love. He's going to get ownership in Seattle against the Mariners. I get it. I mean, I'm not really sure I see him as the highest owned pitcher on the slate, but again, he's in a good spot against the Seattle team that strikes out a lot. Erod certainly has upside at this price. He's the cheapest he's been in a while now. He's been over 9K for a little bit. I mean, as chalk, I'm like not really feeling Erod over any of these other guys we just talked about. So while I get it, I don't think he's like in a smash spot or anything like that. I think he's fine, and if you like him, do your thing. Same thing with Manoah, who, we know has good stuff. He's really affordable for his upside. Tough spot against Tampa, though. I mean, Tampa strikes out, but their lineup is lethal. Picking on Tampa is not optimal much these days. So I struggle to get to Manoah personally. Kind of the same with Gallen, who I'm a big fan of. He's a good pitcher as far as I'm concerned. Solid arm. The deal that brought Gallen to Arizona was Gallen for Jazz Chisholm, and I think that deal's about even. Potential future bet. 2 guys that could potentially be all-stars, not like MVP or Cy Young types, but 2 guys that, are on the up and up for sure. I'm a big Gallen fan. Not the spot for him here in LA against the Dodgers. The Dodgers are getting love. I'm not really looking to pick on Gallen. I mean, I get it. The Dodgers are amazing. Other spots I like more, though, personally. Jake Odorizzi. Yeah, I mean, I think he's fine. It's more solid than spectacular. Good matchup at home in Texas against the Rangers. I hardly ever use Odorizzi these days. It seems like he gets way too much love in spots like this. I'm sure tonight will be a similar story. Rich Hill, he's in good form right now. Like throwing a bunch of pitches. I don't love the spot against a righty-heavy Cardinals team, but man, I like him more than Odorizzi. I like him, man. Honestly, at that price point, I think he's definitely a look. Like worth looking at, if nothing else. That's all I'll say. Logan Gilbert, I'm a fan of his stuff, but man, not really wanting to pick on not Boston, excuse me. He has had a tough schedule as of recently. 3 games against Houston, a start against Toronto, with 1 against Kansas City mixed in there. But it doesn't get any easier tonight against Boston. So he's really affordable for his upside. I'm a little bit torn here. I don't think you're crazy to use him on a slate like this, but man, I don't want to pick on Boston really. Alexi's been good. I'm not looking to use him here against Houston, but he has been good, worth noting for sure. I'm not sure why they're doing the probable long relief with him. I mean, in theory, I get it. Save him from facing that top of the order, but he's been really good in the role that that he's been in so far. So why would you change that? It makes little sense to me. Ryan Yarborough got absolutely lit up against Boston. I think that was on Labor Day last Monday. Yeah, it was. Not in a better spot today against Toronto. So team tons of righty power. More on the Blue Jays side than Yarborough. Just couldn't see myself using him here. Paolo Espino, I mean, he's not very good, but the Marlins are getting a lot of love. So that's the case for using Espino as kind of the leverage there. That's one thing with Yarborough. Yeah, no. Quintana and Leon, no thank you. So it gets pretty weak. I mean, honestly, if I'm making one lineup right now, I kind of like the Padres tonight, both sides. So give me, not Alcantara, give me Darvish. Man, I am not a Rich Hill guy, so damn, this is tough. There are star guys I really like. I'll go with Wainwright. I don't love him on the road. I don't like that he got hit, towards the latter stages of that game last time out. But Mets coming off a late game, big win for them against the Yankees. Man, the more I think about it, I don't really want to pick on the Mets in this spot. Let me see one thing. Damn, they're like really aren't SP2s. I don't even love Darvish that much. He's just my favorite on the slate. I like the Padres a lot tonight. Everything about the Padres. I'm a little bit torn as to where I want to go for like my SP2. I guess we'll just leave Wainwright here. I don't think Rich Hill's crazy at all either. The way he's pitching at his price point. I mean, and then we get to, like I mentioned, Logan Gilbert, who tough spot, but this game's like a pick'em game almost. Gilbert is a better than $6,700 pitcher. If I need to go down, I think he's in play. And then Odorizzi obviously seems like the safer look, but I don't know. And I just don't love Erod here. I get why he's getting low on this slate. I don't love Manoah either. Give me Wainwright over both those guys. That could obviously change, but that's where I'm at right now. Man, Alcantara is just a little bit too pricey for me. But let's talk about some bats, and then we can kind of narrow it down further. So Espino against Alcantara, I'm not really looking at Washington bats here. I mean, if you want to rock with, Soto and Bell, do your thing. Bell's been pretty good lately, actually. Soto's always good. So, I mean, those guys are always in play. Nothing different about tonight. Presumably have Lane Thomas leading off at 3,300. I mean, Alcantara is not really a guy I want to pick on, but smaller slate, affordable price tags and or low ownership, all good combinations. As far as Miami goes, they're cheap. They're facing a pretty crappy pitcher, so they're getting a lot of love. I mean, they're dirt cheap. You got guys like, aside from Chisholm, guys under 3K throughout the lineup. Their lineup's weakened right now because they've got guys on the IL, but again, these cheap outfielders, Jesus Sanchez probably going to get a lot of love. Red hot right now. Homers in 3 straight. Great spot for him. Brian De La Cruz, big power. These are the guys that are going to get a lot of love. I mean, even Brinson probably won't get love because he's so bad, but I imagine those two outfielders, Sanchez specifically, going to be one of the highest owned guys on the slate. Let's check it out. So as far as Chisholm's projected for a lot of ownership. Sanchez is going to get a lot of love. Cruz is going to get a lot of love. But after that, I mean, not really like crazy ownership. Houston, it looks like Houston and the Dodgers are going to be really popular. So interesting. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the more I look at individual ownerships, the more I don't mind Miami, although probably not really a team I want to stack. Don't really need these like dirt cheap price points. I'll probably just stay away from this game, to be honest. Just other teams and other pitchers I like more. All right, Tampa and Toronto. This is an interesting one. Manoah is getting a lot of love, and I get that. But, man, Tampa's like always in play, and I see no reason why they wouldn't be in play tonight. Manoah struggled towards the later stages of his last start. Tampa's lineup is lethal. Brandon Lau, 33 bombs leading off. Sucks that Wander Franco is on the DL or on the IL, excuse me, but they got cheap guys like Taylor Walls now who got called up in replace of Franco. Normal suspects, Cruz, Rosarena, Meadows, all these guys are in play for me. I like the Tampa stack for sure. And I think Toronto's also in play on the other side. Toronto probably a little more appealing on paper. Similar, though. I mean, both these lineups just have so much upside. You got a righty, ton of righty power in this Toronto lineup against Yarborough. Obviously, Vlad can always be the top piece. He's locked in right now. Pretty sure Bichette. I mean, they scored a ton of runs yesterday and the day before, so all these guys are going to have monster game logs. Marcus Semien or Springer. Gurriel put a 50 spot up in game 2 yesterday, not on any slate, but worth noticing. Springer's a guy I'd love. He didn't do much. I think we could see a vintage Springer leadoff home run here. I mentioned Gurriel, 50 spot, crushes lefties. He's hot right now too. So both sides of this game I think are in play. Manoah, I get it at his price point, but I'm more on the offenses in this game personally. All right, Cardinals and Mets. Rich Hill against Wainwright. So, I mean, nothing would shock me in this game, but I don't really think I want offenses from it. I'm going to check the BVP quickly. Wainwright's got real good numbers against the Mets. Alonso's hit him, but only in 5 at-bats. And then Rich Hill against the Cardinals. Goldie's 9 of 19, so that's pretty good. No one else has really done anything, seen him much. I mean, I'm on more of the pitching in this game. I think the offenses will be lower owned, so on a small slate, if that's, kind of where you want to plant your flag, I get it, but not for me. All right, Houston and Texas. So it looks like Houston's getting a lot of love, as they probably should. Spencer Howard, excuse me. He was one of the better pitching prospects in the Phillies organization. Hasn't really panned out at the major league level. Still got good stuff. He's only opening here. And again, Alexi's been really good. I worry about him now coming out of the bullpen. Not that I don't like the spot, like I said. It's just that why mess with what's working? That's like he's been good though. So I don't know. Houston is chalk. I mean, I get it. Bregman's still way too cheap, 4,200. He just shouldn't be this affordable. I mean, these guys are now priced down for some reason. So I get why they're getting love. Tucker's expensive, but he deserves it. He's hot. He's having a great year. Altuve's affordable at 5,300. Maldonado's cheap as hell at 2,900. Houston makes sense. Not my favorite stack on the board, but they're certainly in play. They're really good, and the Texas pitching staff is not. All right, Padres and Giants. This is a spot I really like. I like the Padres a lot here. Coming off a tough series against the Dodgers. Max Scherzer almost threw a perfect game against them yesterday. Perfect get-right spot for them against Dominic Leone and Jose Quintana, who is washed. I like this entire Padres lineup. They're priced up a little bit. Machado, 5,400. One of my favorite plays on the slate. Obviously, Tatis. He's priced down a little bit, 5,900. He might get some love, but I don't care. I like him a lot. Sucks Cronenworth is out, but you got some cheap pieces. We'll see where Adam Frazier's in the lineup. Again, the lineup is like not as desirable as it was at the beginning of the year, but still on my short list for sure. Again, because with that lack of desire comes cheap price tags. So I guess Pham's pretty pricey. He has not been good at all. So he'd be one guy. If I were like one-offing, it would not be Pham. San Diego's going to get no love here. They haven't been great, but again, tough series against the Dodgers for them. I think this is a great get right spot for the Padres, and I'm going to have myself some exposure for sure. As far as the Giants go, I mean, listen, we've seen Darvish get hit around a little bit. It's not where I'm going to go, but I mean, again, we've seen crazier, so I don't think you're insane to go with that. All righty. Diamondbacks at the Dodgers. So Zach Gallen against Kershaw. Again, I'm not really interested in the Diamondbacks against Kershaw and the Dodgers bullpen. Just no need to do that. As far as the Dodgers go, I mean, they're getting a lot of love. I don't really see that. Like, I get it. I mean, they're a really good team. Gallen is hit or miss, but man, he's a good arm. Like, he's been good recently. I know he had struggled a bit in that Padres start, and when he is bad, he can give up home runs, as evidenced by the Padres start before that. If the Dodgers are coming in lower owned, like, I'd love them here. But as chalk, I mean, give me the Gallen side, I guess. I'm a little bit hesitant because he was good against them last time out. The Dodgers are, obviously a great offense. That said, like, they're coming off a big series against the Padres, maybe blew their wad a little bit. I think Arizona could sneak in here and potentially take this game. And if they do that, Gallen will have pitched well. I'll say that. That said, on paper, sorry, let me just go back. These guys are getting a lot of love. Trey Turner, Mookie Betts. I think in cash games, you give these guys long looks. Justin Turner's very affordable. Corey Seager's cheap as hell. Will Smith's affordable. So I think in cash games, you want a bunch of these guys kind of mixed in with Houston and the cheap Miami guys. All right, last but not least, Boston and Seattle. So Erod against Logan Gilbert. And this is another one, man. Like, this is intriguing. Like, Gilbert's too cheap for his price, for his, talent, but he's no, ace by any means yet. So the Boston stack, which is going to be really low. Wow. Devers at 4,900. Damn, wow. He is so cheap. Bogart's back at under 5K. I mean, these guys are cheap. So kind of surprised they're not getting more love. I might pick a side here, whether Gilbert or the Red Sox. I think both sides have big upside. Hope that game doesn't middle out, which it obviously could. But the Red Sox are too cheap for their upside, and the same goes with Gilbert. So hopefully, if you're using the Red Sox, JD is back. If you're using Gilbert, hopefully he's not back. And then as far as Seattle goes, with Erod coming in as the highest owned pitcher on the slate, I do not hate a couple Seattle pieces at all. Mitch Haniger crushes lefties. Home runs in back-to-back games, 31 bombs on the year. Do your thing. Erod has always had some reverse split issues. Kyle Seager crushes lefties. Won't get any love. He's a one-off I like a lot. J.P. Crawford. We'll have to wait and see what their lineup looks like, but I'm not really looking to stack them fully, but some pieces for sure, especially, obviously, if I'm not using Erod. And then Tom Murphy, obviously big power upside against lefties, homered twice the other night. Inconsistent as hell, but that's what you get for usually he's cheaper. Today, a $3,300 catcher, for the Mariners. This basically just comes down to that Erod's getting a ton of love. Not that I love the spot for Seattle. Not a team I'm gonna focus on. Yeah, I like the Padres, especially their main two guys, Machado and Tatis. I obviously get why the Dodgers, Astros, and Marlins are getting love in cash games. In tournaments, give me the Toronto Tampa game and what's it called? The Padres. And then also, I don't hate some Texas either. Coming off a nice, they're playing okay right now. I don't mind some Texas. Let me see these numbers against Odorizzi. I think Odorizzi gets love here. He's not very good. And Texas isn't great either, but they've been okay recently. And I don't hate Texas as a leverage stack at all. Especially the more love Odorizzi gets, the more I like them. All right, guys, that's what I got for you. I know that the people who are staying with MLB are becoming less and less by the day, but I still love it. It's my jam. I'll be covering MLB until it's done. So hope to have most of you guys still with me. If you want more content, all the NFL videos, go check out the DFS 5-pack. We'd love to have you. And appreciate you guys as always. Talk to you soon. Thanks again.